Okay, I'd like to show you some features of the Jupyter Notebooks on Google Colab. You can look at tools here, and there are several different tools if you look at the command palette. For instance, you can see that I now have outputs here. If I want to clear those outputs, I can go here. It says clear all outputs. Now you can see this code has many cells. Sometimes you want to run several cells at once without doing them one by one. So, for instance, all of these are preliminary cells here. I want to run up to this cell. So I'm going to click on this cell, and then I'll go to Tools. And let's look at my command palette. And it says, let's look down here. Should be Run Cells Before the Current. Run cells before the current. So I can do Control F8. I could just click on this and do it. Or I can go back and do Control F8, Control plus F8. And it will run. And it should run all the cells before the current cell. It'll take a minute. All right, so it's all set here. All right. Now let's see what we can do with this cell. If I run this cell, and I look at the output here, suppose I want to do print agents home. All right. Now there's something strange here. Every home has 3 agents. Now something is looking wrong here. Let's look at agents type. Okay, and then I think I can press Control Enter and run it. Teen adult, teen adult, teen adult. There's something wrong here. This could not possibly happen. So let's go back and see if we can understand what the code is doing. So for this we can use the debugger. Now the debugger is a feature in Python that allows you to go step by step through your code to see what it's doing. Now in order to use the debugger I need to import it. So I'm going to add that here. I'm going to say import PDB for Python debugger. Okay. Now in order to start the debugger I need to add another command, pdb set trace. Now, there's a feature which is not very good. I think it's a bug, but you cannot set the trace outside of a loop. You need to set the trace inside a loop. Otherwise, it's going to do funny things. So here I'm going to set it in here, pdb set trace. Like this. All right. Now if I go ahead and run this now, you see here now it has given me the statement I'm at and a dialog box. And you can see also here a green arrow. And again, I put this inside of a loop. I can ask now for values of variables. For instance, JH. I can ask for JH. All right, so what's the value of JH? Now at this stage in the code it should be 0 because this is the first home. All right, very good. Now let's look at some other variable. I could ask for this ag, okay? Because I'm at statement 7, so I could ask for this ag. Okay, press enter. And it says this ag is not defined. Why is that? Because it has stopped at this command, but it has not yet executed this command. All right? So this is where I am now in the code. And if I want to go through the code step by step, I can put in N for next. And that will take me to the next statement. You can see here also the green arrow has gone down 1. Now at this point, this ag is now defined. Let's see what it is. Okay, this is primary. All right, so let's see if everything is working properly. We can go down step by step. So plist, this should be the probability distribution for the primary agents in a home. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and type N again. And then let's see if plist is doing what I think it is. There we are. So that's the primary probability distributions. Probability 0.3 of having 0 primary, 0.3 of having 1, 0.3 of having 2, 0.1 of having 3. All right. Now the next step, I'm going to be making a random choice. So NAG home should be a random choice of 0, 1, 2, or 3. All right. So let's go into next, and let's see what NAG home is. All right, now, look, it's an array. There's a problem here. This should not be an array. It should be a number instead of an array. All right, so there's a mistake in my code. I'm going to go back and change this from an array to a number. In fact, because I see now that I made an array of size 1, I just want the number. So in fact, I want the first entry in this array. So I'm going to go ahead and quit the debugger, and it will stop there. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this so I don't make a problem. All right. So I think I may need to run all of these things again. So I'm going to go ahead and run again. All right, so I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to do Control F8. That should run all the cells beforehand. All right, now I've done this. I've set my trace. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, this NAG home should be a number and not an array. So what I'm going to do is take this result and take the 0 entry. And that will give me the first entry in this array. Okay, so let me go ahead and run again. All right, now here, I can skip down. You can ignore this warning. I'm not sure why it's there. But you can skip down. Right now, I want to get down to here. So I could type next, 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 next. I could also go directly down to line 11. All right. So to do that, there's a command tbreak, which is temporary break. So if I type tbreak 11 and enter, okay, and then continue. All right, so now I'm down here to JT and NAG home. Let's see if NAG home is now good. Okay. Okay. Now here I have also a problem. This should not be JT and NAG home. It should be JT in range of NAG home, because I want to go through as many times as there are agents of this type. All right, so there's another mistake there. I'm going to go ahead and quit. All right. All right, so this should be in range. Well, I could put a range, but I think you'd have to do list range, so let's just put np.arange. Okay. All right. So that's going to step me through one by one and see what's going on here. Okay. So NAG home is going to be the number of agents of this type, and then here's the characteristics of the new agent. We add this one by one. All right. Now I've braked again, and I'm going to now I can continue my debugging. I can execute the code again, and you can see that it has now reached this statement here. And let's do my tbreak again, and let's see, where do I want to go down to now? I want to go down to, well, I've done 11, so let's go down to 13. So tbreak 13. Okay. And then C for continue. All right. And then here we add agents type equals this ag. All right, let's see if this ag is correct. This should be primary. Very good. And JA should be 0 because it's the first agent. Very good. So everything is looking fine. Let's see how my, what else I want to query. JT should be 0. Let's look at NAG home also. All right, in this case, it's 2. Now, since this is a random number, there's no problem. We kind of expect the numbers to change every time we run because NAG home was a random choice. All right? So let's see. Now we're here. Let's go next. Okay? So I'm going to put the agent in home. Agents.home of JA. Okay? So let's go one step here. I'll go to next. All right. And the previous one was agents.type of JA. Let's see if that worked. This should become primary now. Let's just find what agents.type is. All right, so this has become primary. That's good. Okay. All right, and then we, now at agents.home, we haven't executed this yet, so let's go to next. Okay. All right. And now we've gone to the next statement. Let's look at agents.home. Okay, now this should be agents.home of 0, and it is now in home 0. All right. Now you can see how you can step through the code step by step to see what it's doing. All right. Now let's see. I want to put a breakpoint at, I want to go through the entire loop and then go to the next home and see if it did the first home correctly. All right. So I'm going to put a breakpoint at 7. So I'll put tbreak 7. Okay. And then I'll continue. All right. Now you see where I am. It says for this ag in agent type. And my green arrow is now at 7. So it should have completed the first home. And now JH should be 1 because I've gone through everything and my JH should now be something new. So let's look at JH again, see if it's 1. Okay, it's still 0. Well, I think I gave the wrong description. What's happening is it finished this loop once and it's coming back here. So let's see what this ag is. Let's see if it's still primary. It's still primary. Now if I go to the next statement here, and then I do, if I find this ag, it should have changed to high school, to teen. There we go. All right, so now it's going to put teens in my home. All right. So if I continue, it will go back to the next agent. And the next agent is up here. All right, so it's going back up here. So my JH should now be something new. Let's see what JH is now. Okay. JH is now 1. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Let's see how many people were put in the first home. So let's look at my agents and see what, so we have agents.type. We'll see who was put in my first home. Agents.type. Okay. Okay. All right, now look, now we put in 4 agents. Okay. So I think we've solved the problem that we had before. Now we also want to find out what the agent's home is. So agents.home. And we should have 4 zeros at the beginning. And we do. Okay, looks very good. All right, let's continue, see where we can go. Okay, so we've gone to the next statement here. All right, now let's see what the type is. Let's see what this ag is. This ag is still adult because it's finished. It just finished the last loop. So let's go to N for next. All right. And then let's look at this ag now. Now this ag should have changed back to primary. And it has. Right. So if I go and continue, it will put all the primaries into the next home. All right. And it looks like it has. Okay, let's see what my situation is with agents. Okay. All right, looks like it's done. This is the first home. This is the second home. This is the third home. Looks like it's done everything. Well, all right, it looks like it's done one home, 2 homes, 3 homes. It's done 3 homes. But things are looking good. Okay, so I've been able by my debugging to figure out what's going on. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. You can see how to use the debugger. Again, to use the debugger, you need to put in this statement, import PDB. Then you need to put a PDB set trace inside of a loop. I recommend you put it inside the first loop. If you put it outside, you get all kinds of weird stuff. It took me about a half hour to figure out what was going on. All right, put it inside a loop. Then once you have this inside here, you will get this dialog box. In the dialog box, you can type things like right now I could type Q for quit to finish if I, and there's a red arrow which says that I didn't complete everything. Now if I want to run the whole code now, I can just comment this out. Okay, and if I run it, everything should be fine. Looks like it's fine. And then if I do my print agents type, let's see what this is. Okay. Okay. See, it's looking good. If I do agents, if I look for agents home, this looks good. I have 4 of these, got 5 of these. This is looking good. All right. Now again, the commands in the debugger, you can use T-break to set a temporary break. You can use N for the next statement. You put C for continue, Q for quit. All right. Now there is a manual for Python commands. You can go to this web page, docs.python.org/3/library/pdb.html. And it gives different commands. You can see here that I have C. I have C here. I have S, N, and I have N here. Okay, and I have B up here. All right, so go ahead and use that. And I will hold some debugging sessions for people to help figure out what's wrong with the code. Okay, all right, very good.